I'm going to go to the next slide here and tell you about the ideal home business. That's what we put people into: medical billing for doctors, filing insurance claims. Most of our licensees run their business right out of their home, and a lot of them, of course, have opened up offices, as Mr. Hermes has, as you'll hear today on the interview. But I'd say probably 90% plus of our licensees still run their business from their home. You don't have to have an office because the doctors don't come to see you. You just have to have a place to be able to work out of that's relatively quiet and able to concentrate on doing the billing. You can do it 24/7 because ours is a cloud-based billing system, which means you can do it from any computer, internet-connected device. Macintosh, PCs, Windows, Android phones, iPhones, iPads, tablets of any kind, doesn't matter as long as it connects to the internet and you can start up a browser, you can do the billing from anywhere in the world. We've had licensees do it from the beaches of Hawaii. So if you haven't learned a lot about our system or our whole opportunity, just go to our website. It's right at the top of the screen there, absystems.com. Click on one of the two orange buttons you see there, and it will ask you for a little bit of information, and we will put you into what we call, give you access to our virtual brochure. Here's what it looks like. When you go through the virtual brochure, folks, you'll see lots of videos from me and testimonials from some of our successful licensees. You'll find out about the opportunity itself, how we help you get clients, all about the training, support, technology, and everything involved in what you get for your investment. You'll find out a little bit about that on our website under the business package link. You'll see what the investment is, how much it is, how to get involved, whether you need some financing and so forth to get you involved in the business. You can also do your due diligence on us through the Fort Worth Better Business Bureau. We have the highest rating possible for any company on the Better Business Bureau website, and that's an A+. You'll see it here on our screenshot that we've got right here. You can also come down and visit us. Just let us know you're coming. We'll actually pick you up at the airport, bring you over to our offices here in a little suburb of Fort Worth called Keller, Texas. And we'll visit with all the staff. We'll show you anything and answer all your questions face-to-face, and you'll get to meet us face-to-face if you'd like to know a little bit more about our company. We do live trainings here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. One is coming up next week, in fact. It's sold out. So the next one is, we're skipping July, and we have one in August 5th through the 9th. So if you've just begun your due diligence and don't know exactly whether or not you want to get involved with us, you can schedule between now and then if there are seats available in that August class. So just be sure and get back with us. I'll put our phone number up on the screen here as we get into the webinar here in just a second. Just so I can introduce myself, I'll show you the 3 books that I am an author of. You can find these on Amazon.com or on any major bookstore. And these books are written for you to help you be successful in this business. One of them, the one on the right, Cash Crunch to Cash Flow, I wrote with a CPA, Brian Malatesta, and we talk about the cash flow for doctors and how you can help them get more money into their practice and plug up the hidden leaks that are draining their profits. So go check us out there on Amazon.com if you'd like to see a little bit more about me and the company itself. All right, well, let's see if we have our guest still on the phone here with us. Rene, you with us still?
Yes. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
Just fine. Thanks for being on here today, Rene. We've got a whole bunch of people still pouring into the room here, so this is going to be a great webinar. I think some of them have actually been listening to your weekly webinars that you do for our licensees.
Wow.
Yeah,
Great.
so you're famous.
I'm very glad.
But for those of you who are on here that don't know who Rene is, I'm just going to ask him some real basic questions to get us kicked off here. And then if you'd like to ask directly to Rene some questions about what he thinks about the business, how he got started, anything about the medical billing business, you can ask him direct. And so just find a little question box on your control panel over there. You can type in the question, and as I see them come in, I'll ask those of Rene in the order in which they come in. So let's just start, Rene, by kind of stepping back in time. Tell us, first of all, why you even, what were you doing before you even got into our business?
Well, you know, Patrick, I graduated in finance from the University of Miami down in Florida. And that was just about when the financial crisis started here in the States. And all of the graduates, we were just looking at each other with our finance degrees in 2008, and we didn't know what to do with them, really. So I took a job in Qatar. It's a peninsula off of Saudi Arabia. And I was there in the corporate finance department working as a financial analyst, then got promoted to senior financial analyst. Used to do feasibility studies and income statements and balance sheets, just some Excel, crunching numbers, kind of stuff, very corporate job. Until I wanted to come back here to the States because 3 years in the Middle East, in the middle of the desert, was a little bit too much for me. So I wanted to come back to the States, but at the same time, I was getting paid really good money over there. And you know, with foreign income, you don't have to pay taxes up to $100,000, I believe. So so I wanted to do something on my own. I wanted to make good money. The job market was very soft, and ABS just seemed to satisfy all of my dreams and desires, and it was like all the boxes were checked. So this is why I was interested. I was definitely very intrigued. I went to depth when I was doing my due diligence, and I finally came out and I landed in Chicago. Next week I went to Texas, so I didn't waste any time at all, and started in Jan
Wow.
2011.
All right, so I failed to start the recording when I should have here, so I'm just going to summarize what you just said. You went to college, you went overseas, you were in Saudi Arabia for a while, or did you grow up overseas?
Qatar, yeah. I was in. I grew up actually in Lebanon. I took the job in Qatar. It's a peninsula off of Saudi Arabia, and I was there for 3 years in corporate finance as a financial analyst, and then I wanted to do something on my own, so I researched ABS, and it just seemed to be that all the boxes that I needed were checked. I can have good hours, I can have good pay.
Yeah, so it fit your scenario, what you wanted to look for in a business then.
Right, absolutely.
And did you find us just out there on the internet somewhere?
Right, actually, I was just, I wanted to give myself a shot into owning my own business, so I just did a simple Google search, and I was a little bit intrigued with all the stuff that's going on with the healthcare industry here in the States. So yeah, it was just a random Google search, and I wanted to know more, and I signed up to get the access to the virtual tour that you just mentioned, and this is how it all started.
Well, so basically, were you didn't have any background then, obviously, in the medical field?
No, not at all. No background in the medical field. Graduated in finance, and not even any geographic contacts. What I mean by this, I was in Miami, and then I went overseas for 3 years, and then I came to Chicago knowing nobody in Chicago. So I knew just I had my fiance over here, and that was the only person I knew. So I did not know anyone at all, not only in the medical field, but anyone at all in general.
Nobody. Talk about starting from scratch. That's about as raw as it gets.
I know.
So what made you pick the medical field? You just felt like there was a future in it?
Right. You see, it's I like the idea that it's a service-based company that I'm going to be opening. Anything that's service-based is very appreciated, and then you have to do a good job. And I was always very confident that if I'm going to take on something like this, I'm gonna do my best into giving the best service out there. And healthcare is just one of those businesses that really they're never gonna go away. And the cost, we're not selling any goods. You don't have to invest a lot of money into something that might be perishable or anything. And the best investments are investments you do to yourself. You better yourself, your knowledge, and it just everything made sense.
Now, Rene,
And I just went ahead and did it.
did you? I don't think I've ever asked you this, but did you speak English before you came here?
Yeah, they teach French and English as second languages in Lebanon, and when I went to University of Miami, obviously it was all in English, and I had like much more training and to talk to other people in English, and it took time, but I mean, there's still that small accent that you that you can hear.
Oh, no, you speak, that's why I was asking. I thought, well, you must have learned it over there because obviously when you got here, didn't know anybody. That would have been really tough had you not even known. We have a licensee up in New York, Benjamin Ishkahov, who is from Russia, and he didn't know a word of English when he arrived here 12 years ago, so he had to learn everything from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, hey, we've got a question already coming in, Rene, so I'm going to start addressing these as they come in because, who cares what I ask? I mean, people want to know real specific things. So let's get to one of them here from Cheryl. Cheryl says, how long did it take you to start making a profit?
Hey, Cheryl. To make a profit, you see, when I started with ABS, I split the fee with a friend of mine. So basically, it took me a little bit. It would take me lesser time to get into the profit because that fee was split. But if you're doing this on its own, maybe it will take a little bit more time. But it was definitely less than 1 year because on the first year I was already in the black.
Yeah, so you started making money in the first year. Actually, any business nowadays that you can actually show a profit, pay off any investment that you had getting this business started, and actually show a profit in the first year, that's doing pretty good, really.
Right, absolutely. I mean, I don't even believe it that I pulled it off in 1 year.
Well, you must have been actually earning some money as you got your first client to be able to pay some bills, I guess, to get by with. But let's kind of back up there. That's kind of a generic statement question. Why don't we get real specific here about, let's see, you went through training when?
January of 2011.
Okay, so you came here to our... Yeah, so you came here to Dallas and went through our week-long training here. Or was it a whole week at that time? I guess it was 5 days, wasn't it?
Right, it was 5 days, yeah.
And so how long after that did it take you to get all set up and, get your business cards and marketing and so forth and get going and get a client?
Okay, I mean the training was really nice in Dallas, and then everyone that had any doubts were at ease. That ABS is for real, and because obviously this is the question that everyone wants to know: is this for real or not? And then after when you see that that's it, this is what I'm going to do. I was very enthusiastic to just start and do this as fast as I can. Especially that was my only job, so I was not earning any money at all. I was just living off of my savings. So I was pretty fast at this. I wasn't very picky about the logo, So I just told the graphic designer exactly what I wanted, and he did it. And then I opened the company online. He got my tax ID number, and I got the cards printed. I was soliciting for business. Just 2 to 3 weeks, 3 weeks after I came back from Texas, and that was around mid-February. I was really out there, hitting the road, going from clinic to clinic, doing research, and trying to get my first client. And I did get my first client. So February I started, mid-February, March, April. In mid-April, I got introduced to my first client, and I had to go to that client maybe 2 or 3 times before I signed the contract. So by mid-April, beginning May, I had that contract signed.
Wow, that's pretty good. Now, you kind of skipped the how you got it. Alan is asking the question specifically, what marketing methods did you use to get your first client?
Oh, okay. Well, I was going crazy, really. I used everything because I couldn't sleep at night before I got my first client, and because it's very this is really the hardest part, and you have to never lose hope. There was many times that I felt that, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But then just keep going at it. It's a numbers game. I was that client I got by knocking on his door, and I walked in, and I talked to the office manager, and I told them my name, my profession. I just opened an office, and what I'm doing, what I offer. I gave them a business card, and then they said, you know what? We have this billing company, and we always have to fax them stuff, and it's not working. They're not collecting a lot of money. So at first I knew that they are already outsourcing, so then I don't have to convince them to outsource. And then they said that, if you give us a better rate, maybe we'll consider something. So I'm like, yeah, great, let's do it. And then I came the next time. I brought them food, and then we talked a little bit more seriously. The doctor was there, so I had a word with the doctor. And the third time got the contract, and then the fourth he had to modify the contract. Fourth time I had it signed. So
wow, it takes sometimes 2 or 3 visits, doesn't it? I mean, they're not really to sign a contract with you when you walk in the first time, of course.
Right. They need to know you. They need to get to know you, get comfortable with you. They need to. This is very. It's their money. Whenever it comes with anything to do with money, people are not gonna. They need to like you. They need to trust you, and so that always takes time.
Sure.
Especially at the beginning.
And Rene, I just want to kind of touch on something you said there. Of course, you did get this client by, like you said, just walking in and doing what we call direct contact, leaving probably some brochures and just kind of introducing yourself, taking their business card and so forth, right, just like we teach in the class. But that's just one of about a dozen different ways that we teach people to market, isn't it?
Exactly. And I was actually doing all 12 ways. I tried everything. And this is what you need to do. You have to plant the seeds and see what happens. I was networking. I was sending out cards. ADS was very specific about what we really needs to be done. And they put a schedule for us. So week number 1, this is what you need to do, and everything was organized, everything was nice. It was like everything was laid for us. So if you just follow the steps that's given to you, it's like almost like a formula, and it works every time. And that direct contact was what worked for me. And then afterwards, my second client, it was through networking. My third client was through a referral. So it's not that it's always the same thing every time.
That's a good point. You were doing like we teach, which is do all of the marketing things that we teach you, and your first one just happened to come through a direct contact. But a lot of licensees, as you'll hear on these interviews, folks will tell you that they were doing all the different marketing things, and maybe their first one came through a referral or a warm market contact, or the direct mail or email blast that we teach about, or maybe through a seminar, a lunch and learn. There's all kinds of ways to market this, and that's part of, probably half of our week is on the marketing part, isn't it, Rene?
Right, exactly. That's what matters, is to get your first client, and because really you need your first client so that you're in business, and then from there you won't believe how busy you're going to get. From one client, you're going to get another one, and all those seeds that you've been planting all along, they're going to start giving results. So by the time you have your first client and you're so busy with your first client, someone else is going to call, and it's almost unbelievable, but this is how it happens, at least with me.
Yeah, no, that's very typical, Rene. Let's see. Laura is asking you what kind of practice was your first client?
It was internal medicine. And this is basically what I wanted to search for, because those direct contacts that Patrick was mentioning, to walk into the clinic, introduce yourself. I did actually a lot of due diligence on those. So I would go onto Google. I would pick. I wanted to start with primary care, so either internal medicine or family medicine, because those are actually the easiest to get into. I didn't want to go into and knocking on the doors on surgeons, or I just wanted, that was my comfort zone at the beginning. And I did a lot of due diligence, because sometimes you get an office address, and then if you actually type it on Google Earth, then you'll see that this office is inside some big hospital. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to waste your time to drive there, pull up there, and all of a sudden you're inside the hospital. So
right.
I was doing a very good due diligence, so that if I go to a clinic, I know that this is the size that I'm looking for, 1 to 2 practitioners, how many years they've been in practice, so I know I can kind of guess if this is a service that they might need or not. So doing the due diligence was very important, so that those walk-ins and direct contact would be a little bit would stand a better chance of having some kind of outcome.
Okay, and Laura also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Laura also wants to know, do you mind sharing or give us at least generically, what kind of percentage you would charge a doctor on the amount, the money collected for the doctor? Most billing services are using a percentage of some kind. What does yours run on average there?
Well, right now I'm expensive. So
you've gotten expensive all of a sudden, huh?
Right now, I mean, if you want a good service, you have to pay for it. And a lot of doctors that I speak to are actually, they don't mind. They just want a good service. So, right. But actually, my first account, I charged him 5%, and 5% is I mean, basically it all depends on collections. So if the doctor is collecting $10,000, $20,000, then you want to charge somewhere about 7-8%. If the doctor is collecting $100,000 a month, then 5% is not that bad. Try to get 6%. But he was actually collecting $10,000, $10,000 to $12,000, and I saw that maybe this is something unusual. He's working 6 days a week, and all of his clientele are private insurance and Medicare. And it just didn't make sense that he's collecting $12,000. So, anyways, I was desperate to get this account, and I wanted to beat the other guy's price. So he was charging 5.5, the other company. So I said, okay, I'll do it for 5. I did it for 5%, and it wasn't a lot of money at first. But then I took this account, and I was so happy that I had this account. It was like I won the lottery, although I wasn't making the money that I wanted to make. But what happened, that $10,000 to $12,000 that this doctor was making became $32,000 to $35,000 a month.
Oh my gosh, you tripled his revenue.
Yep, absolutely. And
that was because that was because the previous company was just not. They didn't have the technology that we have, and they just didn't know what they were doing, I guess.
Right. Yep. They were just horrible. I was looking at all the paperwork that they were sending in. Everything was rejected. It was a big mess, and he was with them for years. And when he started seeing the good money coming in, he couldn't believe it. He's like, wow, I've been missing out all those years on all this. So we're trying to fix some of his previous claims, But he was very, very happy. And then that 5%. I increased it to 6%, and then I increased it to 7%. So now it's 7%.
Oh, good for you. Good.
So yeah, I mean, I started 5% with.
Now is his revenue still around 35,000? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's the range for internal medicine, internal of family. That's 35,000, 40,000 usually.
Yeah. So you're making a good. I mean, 7%. That's $2,500 a month just on that one account.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
And that's about what we say on our online web-based little calculator there on our website, isn't it, Rene?
Right.
That comes out about what we tell people.
Yeah, this is a very good tool that you have up on there, and some people might be skeptical about it, but actually it's conservative. It's a conservative tool. If you sign up, it all depends what kind of doctor, but it's a conservative tool. I mean, don't be surprised. Yeah, this is the amount of money that we make, and if you get to have a surgeon or an OBGYN or doctors that have a higher reimbursement, then you'll even make more money. But at the same time, that percentage, they try to negotiate that percentage a little bit lower. So, but it's still more money than primary care physician.
Yeah, and I don't know if you have any doctors with this kind of volume, but our research and development department that Eric Auger heads up, we actually are doing billing for a doctor here locally because we wanted to, stay involved and find out what we need to do to improve the system and so forth. And this guy's doing like $90,000 a month, one doctor.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
He visits hospital. He visits patients in the hospital. So he literally goes from one room to another and can see, 50 patients a day. Yeah.
Yeah. And usually inpatient pros actually pay really good money.
This doctor is a physical medicine and rehabilitation doctor, PM&R they call it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Of course,
okay.
All those. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm showing here on this screen right now, Rene, so people can see on our website where you are talking about. You go to income potential here, folks, as you can see. And then there's a medical billing income calculator, and just fill in some numbers here, play around with it a little bit, and see what you come out with. And like you'll see that you can make $30,000 to $40,000 a year off of one physician. It's pretty easy to do that. Okay, hey, by the way, let's jump ahead. We kind of talked about the fact that you started out with that internal medicine doctor, and I want to show some pictures here that Rene sent me. This one is his office. I guess you'd call it the foyer. It's an inside lobby there, isn't it, with a little rock garden in it, and his office is right over here. I'm pointing to it on the screen here, Rene. And there's a picture of the door when you walk in. I took that out of the Skype video we did the other day, showing Hermes and Asaf.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's it.
Medical Financial Services, it says. And this is his desk. I think he likes green. He's got a wall there that's kind of like lime green. There's Rene talking to one of the people there in his office, showing her what she's doing wrong, I'm sure. And here's another young lady working in the office. As you can see, he's a Mac office, just like we are here. We all use Macintosh computers. We love them. And so anyway, I just thought I'd show a few of those pictures.
We love the Macintosh because it actually increases productivity. If you, instead of a task taking you an hour, it would take you really maybe 35 to 40 minutes using a big screen.
Oh, you're just one of those Apple snobs.
Right.
Okay, let's see. Let me get back to some of the questions here. Okay, we answered that question there, and Ron is asking, how many clients do you have now, and which marketing method worked the most often? Did you say you had 3?
No, I actually have 5. I'm not sure if it's 5 or 6 clients. I have 6 clients, but a total of 11 providers. So, every client could be many
okay,
providers.
So it's six practices and 11 total doctors. Yeah, good.
Right. And the method that, really, it all started with a simple Google search. It's unbelievable, at many points I felt that I wasn't secure enough. Should I do this? Should I not? And even after I signed up with ABS, I was a little bit discouraged that time. But then when I got my first client, I was so happy. And really, it's all because of ABS. I do give a lot of credit to the entire company and to the support because they were there from the beginning, and it was the stepping stones of my company. And right now, I look at everything that I accomplished so far, but really, they were there from the beginning. So I really do owe you, Patrick, and the entire ABS team all the credit.
Hey, you can send me any extra money you have, Rene, as a thank you. I'm wide open to that. Listen, you are doing a terrific job now. Here you are, 2 years later, and you're teaching other people about this business, Rene. Can you imagine?
Right.
Could you have imagined that back in January of 2011?
Nope, not at all.
Well, that is great. Now, Ron's question was kind of
going at it.
Yeah, you just stuck with it, didn't you? Well, a lot of Ron's asking, of course, about the clients that you have now that we've got 6 practices. What marketing methods work the most often, or did some of those come, like you said, from referrals?
The referrals. The referral is a very strong tool, very extremely strong tool, and the only way where to make sure that the referrals are going to work towards your benefit is when you do get your first client, just stop doing anything else. So just put your life on pause and don't do anything else, and just make sure that your first client is 1,000% satisfied, and make sure that everything that you're doing is 100% right, and make sure that this one client that you have is treated like a king. And then once you do that, then referrals are just that's gonna be your sales method.
We have licensees tell us that all the time, Rene, is that they did what we told them to do to get that first client, and then it just grows automatically. They never had to do any more marketing after that, practically.
I don't do any marketing. I don't solicit for business. I actually the other day I just got a phone call, and I swear I didn't even believe it. I got a phone call. It's a young lady. She just started physical therapy, and she said that she got my number from a client of mine, and she opened her private practice. She wants to start doing the billing, and she's very happy from the testimony that he gave her, and she wants to start right away. So I sent her the contract by email. She sent them back the next day with a check, and we started. And it was that easy. It was. I didn't even see her. I didn't even.
Business comes out of the blue, huh? When actually, it didn't come out of the blue. It came from your planting the right seeds with the doctor that you're doing a good job for. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Great. And now when you say she sent you a check, talk about why somebody. A lot of people don't realize when you sign up a doctor, you're actually getting a setup fee.
Right. Yeah, I'm always very clear about this. The setup fee. I charge the setup fee because we need to do a lot of work to make sure that they are properly credentialed with all the companies. We need to take some time to gather all the information, go to CAQH, make sure we have all the data that they're credentialed with, so that the billing is done properly. And we need to pay a setup fee whenever any software company, whenever you want to open an account with them, they do have a setup fee. So it's really for our services and for our time, and part of it goes to the software company. And anyways, it gives us a little bit of leverage, because for the first couple of months, we're probably not going to be billing them, sending them an invoice, because it takes a little bit of time to get those the account set up and the bills starting to go out, and it takes time for the money to start kicking in until we get them our invoice. There's that 2-month waiting period. So that setup fee gives us a little bit of leverage, so that we're working, but at least we have some money to work with.
Yeah. So Rene, if there's a doctor, let's say this doctor that called you up, and maybe there's no credentialing that needs to be done to speak of, it's just getting them set up on the software and so forth. What would an average setup fee? What are you charging for something like that?
I personally charge $1,200.
$1,200.
$1,200.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah, and if I see that this is something that they cannot afford, or it's a big number for them, I just split it up into 3 monthly payments. So I'll invoice them $400 every month.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we've got licensees now, Rene, getting $2,500, and what they do is they wrap into that an iPad. You know, because if they're setting the doctor up and the doctor wants to get involved in the electronic medical records, since they use an iPad to access that, they just throw that in there. Of course, it costs about $500, but you know, you can afford that out of $2,500.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on each individual client. So if the client is interested in electronic medical records and you see that they're very tech savvy, then you can try to get that price a little bit up there and include the hardware with it. So it's a very nice gesture. So it's really, it all depends.
Yeah.
On
okay, so I think we probably kind of jumped around a little bit on our questions about when you got your first client, but it sounded like once you got out there and got started, it took you 3 or 4 months there, didn't it, to get the first client?
It took from mid-February to mid-April, so almost 2 months, and then 2 months and a half really. So it's a little bit less than the 3 months that you guys at ABS predict. But you know, there's that one question that was also. I skipped it, I believe. Another way of getting clients, which was very beneficial for me, other than the referrals and just direct contact, is networking. Because I was out there all the time. I was going to every single networking event. I was introducing myself, giving out business cards, talking to people. There's that really good website that ABS told me about. It's about meetups, and then you would go in and type in your zip code, and you'll see all the business meetups in your area. And I went to every single one of those. And actually, my second account came through a networking event. It was a CPA that has a client that's a doctor, and they needed someone for the billing, and he introduced me to the practice.
Yeah, and
so that's very cool.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know this or not, Rene. We may not have talked about this when you came through training, but I actually started a business networking group here in the Dallas area a few years back before we started cranking up here. And so I had over 600 members of that networking group, and so during the training now, we go into depth about how to do networking, where to meet, what to do and not do, and you know, we go into real detail about that now in the training. I don't know if we did that when you came through or not, but yeah, networking is a great method. Perfect. Yeah. You need to come back to training sometime, Rene. Come on down.
I know.
I'll put you up in the hotel. You just get down here if you want to ever sit through a class again, and or send some of your people. Bring some of your people.
You know, Patrick, I would love to. Really, it would be very nice to see all the familiar faces and connect with people just like me. That I was in their shoes just 2 years ago. That's not a long time. So
no, it's not.
I'm always very happy to do that, and that's why I get a lot of joy, a lot of satisfaction by just sharing my experience, because it is really, I believe it's a valuable and credible testimony, because all that I'm saying is absolutely correct, and I'm so thrilled that I have the opportunity to go up there and give out the webinars that I've been giving. There's one coming up this Friday, and I just love as much as I can give back. I just feel so indebted. So I believe those webinars are like a way for me to share, and it gives me satisfaction, and I feel like
you've done. Let's see, you've done 3 of those now, and this Friday is the 4th one. Then you have another one coming up after that, don't you?
Right. Yes, it's a series of 5 webinars.
Well, the licensees are just loving what they're getting from you, Rene. We post those, record them, and post them out there on the licensee support site, and they're just raving about them. So, hey, we need to talk about another 5 series of 5 more. I'm sure you got lots of information in your head now that you can share with people.
Let's do it.
Okay, so Laura says, how many providers or practices does he have? I think, Laura, you may have typed that in after we covered that. He's got 6 practices with 11 providers. And let's see, this is Lavetta. She says, this is my first time getting on a call, so I don't know any background info. Does he have to hire a staff to actually do the billing? And yes, you do have staff, don't you? I've seen them.
Yeah,
we showed some
right
pictures.
now I do have staff. Yeah, absolutely. I do have staff right now just because the company is growing. I need people that are an extension of what I do. I make sure that my staff are at the same level that I am at, so that they are delivering the same service. Because as a service-based company, I cannot jeopardize this. So it's very important to have staff that are extremely trained and they're just a duplicate of what you are doing. I started on my own. I started in my house before I got the office, and obviously the only reason why I got an office is to hire staff, because I'm not going to hire people and tell them to come to my house. It's creepy. So
right.
So yeah, that's why I have now two staff working with me at the office, and it's been like this for almost a little bit more than a year now.
You know, Rene, we do have licensees who have been in business longer than you have, and they still work out of their home. One lady was pretty creative. She built on to her home rather than go, lease an office building. She just borrowed some money, built a room, a big room, like 20 by 30, onto the side of her house, put an outdoor, outside door on it, and that's how her staff, they come into there and just work inside of her home there out of that extra room. Wow. Then we have others, of course, that just hire their friends and relatives, and they don't mind them coming in their home. Or since it's a web-based system, they can use GoToMeeting technology like we're using here today to connect and actually train and work with people virtually. Well, right. You and I had a Skype meeting the other day. It's almost like sitting across the desk from one another, isn't it?
That's true. It's you can do really anything with whenever anything is web-based. It's beautiful. When I go on vacation, when I travel overseas, not sometimes, all the times, I'm always checking what's going on here at the office, and I can see everything. I can know exactly what's going on. I have full access to what's going on here, so it's very convenient. I love it.
Yeah, you could actually you could be on a cruise ship and just go to their computer room, and they have a room that you can go to log in and see everything that your people are doing while you're out there cruising. All right, exactly. Let's see. Laura says, do you have a website, and do you get clients from it? You do have a website.
I do have a website. I'm not very. I was thinking to advertise through, Google AdWords or use the internet as a tool. It is definitely something that you need to have. So whenever I get referred by someone else, they tell them, "Oh, go to the website." So the people that actually check my website, they already know about me, and then they see the website, they get a little bit more comforted, that this person, yes, they have a website, it adds credibility. But someone to just stumble upon my website, like just by a random search, I never had this happen. But that's just because I never invested in that technology.
It's called search engine optimization, and that's a whole science in and of itself, isn't it? Unless you know what you're doing.
I know.
Yeah, you got to know what you're doing, or hire somebody who knows what they're doing to get that stuff working for you. But again, on the other hand, we do have licensees who. One lady up in Ohio, her husband just happened to be in the computer field, and she's gotten probably a half a dozen clients just finding her right on her website and contacting her. So it does work, for people who want to put some time and money into that too.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. This is from. Let's see. I think we answered. Well, that is a question. Yeah, you have to hire. You have staff. How many people do you have now, Rene? Those two ladies we just saw in the pictures?
Yeah.
Two people. That's all it takes. Yeah. So, can you give me a kind of a ballpark figure, Rene? At one time, I thought you told me you were going to do like $6 million a year in billing. Is that gone up or down, or?
Yeah, no, actually, this has gone up. I got a few more accounts from that time, and we bill out a lot of money, and we try to collect as much as we can. But yeah, I mean, whenever you have big accounts, surgery accounts, then the volume is very high, and we bill out as much as we can, and whatever we can collect, we charge a percentage. And obviously, with more accounts, able to get that volume bigger, and
sure.
And especially that was one of the things that I talked about last webinar, is that we can, once you are up there and you can handle good volume, then you can start soliciting for hospital accounts. So if you go to a hospital and they have 20 providers or 25, 30 providers, then we're talking collections that are millions of dollars, and that's where the really good money comes in. But then you have to be equipped. You've got to have staff, and you have to be ready for it. So if right now if at the beginning someone came in and gave me that account, I would be thrilled, but I probably wouldn't have been able to deliver to the fullest of my capacity, because I was either short-staffed or But this does exist, and just to have this opportunity that one day anyone could be able to have this, then there's just such a big reassurance that this business could go somewhere.
Yeah, so, and I do have licensees who have, they've brought on groups of 50-plus doctors all at one time, and of course they had already gotten to the point where they had a staff of 10, 15, 20 people doing the work, and so to bring on another group like that was not much. You just may add a few more people and absorb it into the people that you already have, and but you're not. Yep. You're right. That's not something you want to start out with. We tell people, don't go after the elephants. Go after the squirrels first.
I know. I mean, it's people are very enthusiastic, and I'm always hoping for the best. But even now, it's just been 2 years, and thanks to ABS, I'm where I am right now. But I'm also looking to grow my practice even more, and get more people, and hire more people, and get bigger accounts. So this is something that gives me a lot of comfort, because if, let's say, you open up a restaurant, for example, you can only serve a set amount of people, but with what I'm doing, we can have as many as hundreds of clients. It doesn't really matter,
Right, so, just scale it up. Yeah, it depends on how many people you're willing to manage, doesn't it?
Yeah, basically.
And you even told me that you're looking at some more space there in that office complex that you're in there, huh?
Yes. Actually, there's some office space that I'm interested in. We kind of grew into the office space that I have now, and I think we need more space. And it's just part of growing a business. And I'm very excited about it. Every time I do a step like this, like I hire an extra person or get office space or do anything at all, it's extremely satisfying, especially that you're doing this for your own business. So it just feels so good to spend that money.
Yeah, not working for somebody else and making them money.
Exactly.
Valdemar says he wants to know, do I have to have experience? Now, we kind of touched on that. You didn't have any background in the medical field, so obviously you don't have to have experience, but you learn a lot. I mean, we teach a lot in that week's class down here, but we can't teach everything, can we, Rene?
Right, exactly. I mean, and this is exactly why ABS provides you with the LSS. There's all the webinars pre-recorded, a lot of material, a lot of readings that that you need to do. ABS is a great starting point, and they equip you with everything that you need. But then, you have to. It's whatever you put into it, you're gonna get out of it. So, and it's very conveniently placed there for you. So, you do not need any background. You don't need any background. But whenever you want to go into this business, if you're determined that you want to give the best service that you can, and you want to know everything that you need to know about billing and coding and credentialing, then all the information is readily available for you, and that's a huge plus, because on the internet is all scattered all over the place. So on the ABS LSS, it's all there. If you just read and look at the webinars and listen to them, and you'll have all you need to know about
now you've been people probably don't know what LSS stands for, but it's just licensee support site, we call it. As you can see, I've got it actually up on the screen right now, and looky there, right on the screen, you see this medical billing part 1 of 5. That is our friend Rene Hermes actually teaching that class, and part 2 is up there as well. So anyway, yep. And then, of course, there's much more on this site than we can cover here in the webinar, guys. You can get a little tour of this or see a little bit more of it by asking your ABS representative to tell you a little bit more about it there.
Okay. And make sure that whenever you become an ABS licensee, first thing you do, just log on to LSS and check out my webinars.
That's right. See, he's promoting his webinars. That's great, Rene. Okay, let's see. Here's so the answer, Valdemar, is no, you don't have to have experience. We teach you everything you need to know to get the business going, and then it's a constant, ongoing learning process. You never stop learning in this business.
Oh, of course. I'm always learning. This is why I am subscribed to Medicare and Medicaid newsletters, and there's always new stuff coming in that you need to absorb and learn about.
Yeah. Now, let's see. Here's a question from Laura. It's a good one here. How does he retrieve info from the providers, like the patient charges and information pages and, super bills, all the stuff that you need from the doctor to do the billing? How do you get that from them, Rene?
Well, there are 3 ways, especially that we need to take into consideration HIPAA compliancy. So email is out of the question because it's not encrypted. So the first way would be through the software itself if they are using EMR. So if they're using electronic medical records that's interrelated to the practice management that you're using, then you will get this information electronically, and that's HIPAA compliant. The second way would be the traditional way, which is faxing over documents. So whatever patient demographics, if they need to fax them, then they can fax them. If they're usually, this is something that's done on the front desk side, and they only fax the billing. So basically the codes for that date of service for that patient encounter. So a fax is another way, and I have the electronic fax. So whenever I receive a fax, it gets forwarded to my email. So I always get an electronic copy that's saved there, and it's just easier for me to enter the claims from there. And the third way, I use internet-based application. It's called, probably some of you guys are familiar with it. It's called Dropbox.
Sure.
And actually, Dropbox, you link it with your clients, and then you can share information. It's the same thing as Google, like the Google sharing documents and stuff. You just have to make sure that whatever you're using is HIPAA compliant, that it's encrypted.
Yeah, now that's important. You mentioned HIPAA there a couple of times. The Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, that's the thing that covers the privacy of the patient data. You got to be careful about that, don't you?
Right, absolutely. You have to know this as a medical biller because we're interchanging the personal patient information, and actually this is why we need to sign a form with the doctor saying that it's called the Business Associates form, and it's also on the ABS website. It gives you a template. And basically, it allows us to interchange confidential documents with our client, the doctor.
That's right. Well, Rene, we've come to the top of the hour here. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you so much sharing this with other people. It's been such an encouragement, I'm sure, to people who are, wondering whether this is something they should get involved in. And obviously, it's been very good to you.
Absolutely. I think I'll do it all over again.
Oh, you would? Okay. Well, then just pay me another license fee and come on down to training.
Why not?
Well, Rene, thank you again for being on here. I'm just going to wrap it up here today, and I'll send you a link to the recording of this whole webinar. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Thank you, Patrick.
All right. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, folks. Thanks for being on here today. We do these webinars every Wednesday, by the way. If you want to be on the next one, just be sure and get back with your ABS rep about that. And let me put that phone number up here on the screen. In fact, I don't think it's on this slide, but we have it here somewhere. Here it is right here. And so just give us a call. If you don't know who your ABS rep is, we will give you that person, put you in contact with them, and you can correspond with them through email if you don't want to speak with them in person for now. At some point, you'll want to do your due diligence, and we'll talk about funding, how you put your license fee together, how you reserve your room here in the class. As you can see, it's a very small class, usually about 20 people maximum in the class. And very, very interactive, guys. You're going to love, this is a true workshop. We bring in the laptops. We give you hands-on experience with this, and you're going to love this. Now, the next one is coming up in August, so be sure and let your ABS rep know that you'd like to reserve a seat in that, even if you're not quite ready to finalize everything, and we'll set you aside a seat for that. Folks, we do have a money-back guarantee. If you come to my training and at the end of the week, for some reason, don't think this is right for you, for any reason, it doesn't matter. You can just write us a note even and just say, this is not for me, I want my money back. We will give you a full refund, 100% of your license fee back. In fact, that license fee is held in a trust account by my attorney. I don't even have access to the money until you've completed the training and are very happy with what you've seen. You'll know, believe me, about midway through the week, most people just go, wow, didn't realize it was anything close to this. So it'll be an eye-opener for you, I'm sure. But that's our reassurance to you that we don't want your money, we want your success. And because we built our company on the basis of us making money when you make money, it's a win-win situation, so you can have the phone number there available if you'd like to call us right now. Thanks for being on here. I hope I see you at one of our upcoming live training workshops in the future. This has been Patrick Phillips, the founder and CEO of American Business Systems, saying bye for now.